In this video I'm going to be taking you through some questions from this exam paper. It's the Edexcel June 2012 non-calculator GCSE maths paper. I'm going to be doing the questions from the second half of the paper, and these actually feature in the higher paper as well. So they're all questions for people aiming to get around a grade C. I strongly recommend that you do these questions yourself first and then use the video later to see if you got them right and to see where you went wrong with the questions you're having problems with. Don't forget that at the beginning of the paper you'll find some formulae. So on the first page it tells you the area of a trapezium is half A plus B times H, so that's half the two parallel sides times the height. And the volume of a prism is the area of its cross section times the length. The diagram shows a rectangle and a square. The perimeter of the rectangle is the same as the perimeter of the square. Work out the length of one side of the square. Well, we know perimeter means the distance around the outside of the rectangle. So we've got a 2, an 8, this side must be a 2, this side must be an 8. So the total perimeter is going to equal 2 plus 8 plus 2 plus 8. 2 and 8 is 10, so we've got 20 centimetres altogether. The square obviously has four sides the same length, so now one side of the square is going to equal 20 divided by 4, because there's four sides on the square. 20 divided by 4 is 5 centimetres. So the answer for question 14, 5 centimetres for each side of the square. Question 15. The table shows the minimum distance and maximum distance people should sit from different sized TV screens when watching TV. James has a TV with a screen size of 32 inches. He's going to watch his TV. What is the minimum distance James should sit from the screen? So all we've got to do is find 32 inches on the table, and there we go, and find the distance from the screen, the minimum distance, which is this column. So our answer is 4 feet. Shiraz has a TV with a screen size of 38 inches. He's going to watch his TV. Work out the difference between the minimum distance and the maximum distance Shiraz should sit from the screen. So we've got a 38 inch TV, and there we go. The minimum distance is 4.75, the maximum is 9.5. Now this is the non-calculator paper, don't forget, so we can't go reaching for our calculator. So we've got to do a subtraction, because difference means subtract. So we've got 9.5, take away 4.75. You can fill in the missing digit with a 0. 0 take 5 we can't do, so we need to borrow. So I make that a 4 and a 10. 10 take 5 is 5. 4 take 7, again we can't do, so we need to borrow. Make that an 8 and borrow 1. So now we've got 14, take away 7, which is 7. And put the decimal point down. 8.4, 8 take 4 is 4. So our answer is 4.75 feet. You can use this rule to work out the maximum distance to sit from a TV screen. Maximum distance in feet equals screen size in inches divided by 4. Claire has a TV with a screen size of 24 inches. She's going to watch her TV. Use the rule to work out the maximum distance Claire should sit from the screen. So all we have to do is substitute the number 24 in this formula. So the maximum distance is going to equal, the size of screen is 24, and then we've got to divide that by 4. 24 divided by 4 equals 6. So our answer, 6 feet. Richard should sit a maximum distance of 12 feet from his screen. Work out the screen size of Richard's TV. So we're working out the screen size this time. We've got the maximum distance, which is 12, and we know that equals the screen size, which we don't know, so we'll call that S divided by 4. So we've got to think of a missing number, and if we divide that number by 4, we get the answer 12. We could think of it like an equation, we could rearrange it. So the opposite of divide by 4 is times by 4. 12 times by 4 equals S. So S is going to equal 48 inches. So that's our answer for 2 marks. A quadrilateral has been drawn on the grid. Quadrilateral just means a shape with 4 straight sides. And we've got to write down the mathematical name of this quadrilateral. Something you either know or you don't really, but the answer is a trapezium. T-R-A-P-E-Z-I-U-M, trapezium. On the grid below, show how this quadrilateral tessellates. You should draw at least 6 shapes. So a tessellation is just a repeating pattern where you keep repeating the same shape, but it fills up the whole of a space. So it's like tiling a bathroom wall. All the tiles fit together without any spaces between them. So the easiest way to make this into a tessellation is to keep turning the trapezium upside down. At the moment there's 1 line on the top, 3 on the bottom. So I'm going to do 3 on the top and 1 on the bottom. Turn the trapezium upside down, and there's our second shape. We've got to do at least 6 of these, so now we're going to do 3 on the bottom and 1 on the top. And 3 on the top, 1 on the bottom. And 3 on the bottom and 1 on the top. So we've got a complete row. So now we could do some the other way up. We could either reflect that. Let's reflect it. So I'm going to do one coming down this way. And then again, let's fill in all the space. So we're going to have 3 on the bottom here and 1 on the top. And then 1 on the bottom, 3 on the top, 1 on the top, 3 on the bottom. So now we've got plenty of trapeziums in our tessellation. Enough to get us the 2 marks for that question. Debbie, Selma and Wendy did a maths test. The total for the test was 40 marks. Debbie got 16 out of 40, Selma got 35% of the 40 marks, Wendy got 3/8 of the 40 marks. Who got the highest mark? You must show all your working. So I think the easiest thing to do here is to change them all to percentages. Debbie got 16 out of 40, so we write 16 over 40 times 100. So to work out 16 out of 40 times 100, what can we do? Well, we could cancel, couldn't we? We can divide both the 100 and the 40 by 10. So we can cancel out some noughts. And that makes the sum very easy, because now we can see how many 4s are there in 16. That goes 4. So 4 times 10 equals 40. So Debbie's score is 40%. We already know Salma's score is 35%. So Debbie got more than Salma. What about Wendy? Wendy got 3/8 of the marks. So that's 3 divided by 8 times 100 to change it to a percentage. So this is a bit trickier because nothing cancels down easily. So let's just do a little division. Let's change 3/8 into a decimal. So we need to work out how many 8s there are in 3. 8s don't go into 3, so it's going to start with a 0 point. 8s into 30. So that's going to go 3, isn't it? 3/8 are 24. So we've got a remainder of 6, because 30 take away 24 is 6. Put another nought in. How many 8s in 60? Well, if you know your 8 times table, 7/8 are 56. So it's going to go 7 times. 56 take away from 60 leaves us with a remainder of 4. So now we want to know how many 8s are in 40, and that goes exactly 5 times. So 3 divided by 8 gives us 0.375. Always check your answer's sensible. 3/8 is a bit less than a half, isn't it? 0.375 is a bit less than 0.5. So now our sum becomes 0.375 times 100. So when you multiply by 100, the digits move along 2 places, so 0.375 will become 37.5%. We're looking, remember, for the biggest percentage. So Debbie got 40%, Selma got 35%, Wendy got 37.5%. So our answer, who got the highest mark? Debbie got the highest mark. Which is 40%. Question 18. Note here there's an asterisk next to the 18. That means this question is assessing your written communication. In other words, it's no good just writing numbers for the answers to this question. It's expecting some writing, a short sentence at least, to explain your answer. So let's see what the question says. Bill uses his van to deliver parcels. For each parcel Bill delivers, there is a fixed charge plus £1 for each mile. You can use the graph to find the total cost of having a parcel delivered by Bill. So we can see if we don't drive any miles, it costs us £10. If we drive 50 miles, it costs £60. Question A says, how much is the fixed charge? Well, obviously the fixed charge is how much the cost is when we don't drive any miles at all. So at 0 miles, the cost is £10. So that's a simple answer, £10. Ed uses a van to deliver parcels. For each parcel Ed delivers, it costs £1.50 for each mile. There is no fixed charge. Compare the cost of having a parcel delivered by Bill with the cost of having a parcel delivered by Ed. So what we need to do here is draw a graph for Ed. Okay, so for Ed there's no fixed charge. So for no miles, it won't cost us anything. The graph starts at the origin. So let's work out, say, what happens if we use 50 miles. 50 miles will be 50 times £1.50. In other words, 1.5 50s. Half of 50 is 25. So 1.5 50s will be £75. So we can plot that on our graph. 50 miles will cost £75. Notice what each little square means. Ever so many people make the mistake of counting from 70 up in ones, in which case you plot it there, but that would be wrong, wouldn't it? We've got to plot at 75. If that's 70 and that's 80, each little square must be 2. 72, 74, 76, 78, 80. So we need to go up from 70 2.5 squares for 75. So there's our point on the graph. It's a straight line graph, so we can join it up with a ruler. So that is our graph for Ed. That one is for Bill. So now we can use this graph to explain who is cheaper. They cross over at this point here. When we travel 20 miles, both Ed and Bill will charge £30. If it's less than 20 miles, then this one's going to be cheaper, which is Ed. If it's more than 20 miles, this one's going to be cheaper, which is Bill. So that's what we need to explain in our answer. So let's say for distances less than 20 miles, make sure I get it run the right way, Ed is cheaper. For distances more than 20 miles, Bill is cheaper. So there's our 3 marks. Question 19. A pack of 9 toilet rolls costs £4.23. A pack of 4 toilet rolls costs £1.96. Which pack gives the better value for money? You must show your working. So the easiest way to do this, I think, is to work out the price of 1 toilet roll in each pack. So if we buy a pack of 9 for £4.23, the cost of 1 roll will be how many 9s are there in £4.23. 9s into 4 don't go, so it's no pounds. 9s into 42, so 9, 18, 27, 36 goes 4 times. 4 9s are 36. There are 6 left over. So how many 9s in 63? That goes 7. Okay, so now we have to find the price of 1 toilet roll if we buy a pack of 4. A pack of 4 costs £1.96. We need to divide that by 4. 4s into 1 don't go. 4s into 19 go 4, because 4 4s are 16. So we've got a 3 left over. 4s into 36 go 9. So our toilet rolls in a pack of 9 cost 47p each. Our toilet rolls in a pack of 4 cost 49p each. So obviously the pack of 9 is cheaper. Question 20. The stem and leaf diagram shows some information about the speeds of 25 cars. So it's important to look at the key. 2-9 means 29 miles per hour. So that figure means 29. That figure will mean 49. That 0 will mean 60. So how many of the 25 cars had a speed of more than 50 miles per hour? So we mustn't count the 50s, only speeds more than 50. So we've got a 51 here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars with a speed of more than 50 miles per hour. Find the median speed. Median means the middle one. So we need to know how many data items there are. It tells us in the question there are 25. If there are 25 numbers, what's the middle number? One quick way of doing that is to add 1 to the number of the cars and then divide it by 2. 25 add 1 divided by 2 gives us 26 divided by 2, which is 13. So the middle car will be the 13th car. So we just need to count 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this one is our median car. The 4 is in the 40 line, so that speed is 44 miles per hour. If you're not sure you've got the right answer, just double check you've got the same number of speeds either side of the median. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 speeds higher. So 44 is the correct answer. Part C says work out the range of the speeds. The range means the biggest number take away the smallest number. The biggest number is 60. The smallest number is here, 29. 60 take 29 gives us 31. So the range of the speeds is 31 miles per hour. Question 21. Again, we've got an asterisk here, so it means we've got to give reasons for our answer. As it tells us here, give reasons for your answer. So ABC is a straight line, BD equals CD, that's BD, that's CD. These two lines show that those two lines are the same length. So obviously BCD is an isosceles triangle. Angle BDC is 50 and angle ADB is 20. We've got to work out the size of the angle marked X. So we need to do this in stages. Let's first of all work out the angles at the bottom in this isosceles triangle. So write down what you know. We know that the base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. And obviously we know that the angles in a triangle adds to 180 degrees. So let's work out the missing angle DBC. DBC is going to equal 180. Take away the 50 we know is in the triangle already, and then divided by 2 because it's the same size as angle DCB. Let's work that out. 180 take 50 is 130, and 130 divided by 2 gives us 65 degrees. So far we've found out that this angle here, DBC, is 65. ABC is a straight line, and we know angles on a straight line equal 180 degrees. So we can work out ABD. ABD is going to equal 180 take away 65, and 180 take away 60 is 120, take away 5 leaves us with 115 degrees. So this angle is 115. We now have two angles in a triangle, and x is the third angle in that triangle. So all we have to do is subtract the two we know. So we're using angles in a triangle again. Add to 180, so 180, take away 115, take away 20 is the sum we've got to do. So 115 and 20 is 135, so 180 take away 135 actually equals 45 degrees. So that is our answer, 45 degrees is the missing angle x. Question 22. The diagram shows a patio in the shape of a rectangle. So it's 3.6 metres long, 3 metres wide. Matthew is going to cover the patio with paving slabs. Each paving slab is a square of size 60 centimetres. Matthew buys 32 of the paving slabs. Does Matthew buy enough paving slabs to cover the patio? You must show all your working. Okay, well this question involves metres and centimetres. So the first thing to do is make sure all our units are the same. So let's just change everything to centimetres. There are 100 centimetres in a metre. That's why it's called a centimetre. Centi means 1/100th. So 3 metres equals 300 centimetres. And 3.6 metres equals 360 centimetres. So our slabs are 60 centimetres wide. So we want to know how many little squares are going to fit along that side. So we need to know how many 60s divide into 360. So we can cancel the noughts. 6 is into 36, go 6. So we can imagine 6 slabs being placed along this side. On the other side, we need to know how many 60s there are in 300 centimetres. Again, we can cancel the noughts. 6 is into 30, go 5. So we're going to have 5 tiles side by side that way. That means altogether in our rectangle we'll have 5 times 6 slabs. 5 times 6 is 30 slabs. So if we bought 32 slabs, we'll have 2 slabs left over when we've finished. The paving slabs cost £8.63 each. Work out the total cost of the 32 paving slabs. Okay, so this is a long multiplication. There's lots of different methods to do long multiplication, so as long as your method works and you get the right answer, stick with your method. This is perhaps the most common method taught these days. Split it into hundreds, tens and units. So the £8.63 is 800 pence and 60 pence and 3 pence. And the 32 is 30 and 2. So now we just need to cross multiply all of these. 3 8s are 24, but we've got to make sure we've got the right number of noughts. 1, 2, 3. So that's 24,000. 2 8s are 16, and we've got 2 noughts, so that's 1600. 3 6s are 18. We've got 2 noughts, so that's 1,800. 3 30s are 90. 2 60s are 120. 2 3s are 6. So if we add up all of these, we'll get our answer. So 90 and 6 is 96. 0, 0, 0, 2, 9, 1, so that's 1,920. 24,000 and 1,000, 25,600. So to add those together, it might be better to write them out again. 25,600, 1,920, 96. So we've got a 6. 2 and 9 is 11. 6 and 9 is 15, and 1 is 16. 5 and 1 is 6, 1 is 7, and 2. So we've got 27,616 pence, because we've changed it into pennies. So to change that back into pounds, it's £276 and 16p. So that will be our answer, £276. 16 pence. Here are the ingredients needed to make 12 shortcakes. So we need 50 grams of sugar, 200 grams of butter, 200 grams of flour, and 10 mils of milk. Liz makes some shortcakes. She uses 25 millilitres of milk. How many shortcakes does Liz make? So in the recipe, we need 10 mils to make 12 shortcakes. We've got 25 mils. So let's see how many times we can make that recipe. That will be 25 divided by 10, which equals 2.5. So we can make this recipe 2.5 times. Each time we'll make 12 shortcakes. So the number of shortcakes will be 2.5 times 12. So this is 2.5 12s. 2 12s are 24. A half of 12 is 6. 24 and 6 makes 30 shortcakes. So the answer is 30. Robert has 500 grams of sugar, 1,000 grams of butter, 1,000 grams of flour, and 500 millilitres of milk. Work out the greatest number of shortcakes Robert can make. So let's take each ingredient in turn. So we'll start with sugar. We've got 500 grams of sugar, and we need 50 grams for each time we make the recipe. So we could make the recipe 10 times with that amount of sugar. For butter, we've got 1,000 grams. So 1,000 divided by 200 gives us 5. So we can only make the recipe 5 times with that amount of butter. For the flour, we've got 1,000 grams. It takes 200 grams each time. Sorry, I made a mistake there. 1,000 divided by 200 again gives us 5. So we can only make the recipe 5 times with that amount of flour. Finally, the milk. We've got 500, but we only need 10 mils of milk for the recipe. So with the milk we can make the recipe 50 times. So the biggest constraint on our recipe is the butter and the flour. So the maximum number of times we can make the recipe is 5. The question is work out the greatest number of shortcakes, not the greatest number of times we can make the recipe. So now we've got to do 5 times 12. 5 12s are 60. So with those ingredients we could make 60 shortcakes. Question 24. Buses to Acton leave a bus station every 24 minutes. Buses to Barton leave the same bus station every 20 minutes. A bus to Acton and a bus to Barton both leave the bus station at 9 AM. when will a bus to Acton and a bus to Barton next leave the bus station at the same time? So the buses from Acton to Acton leave every 24 minutes. So we've got 9 o'clock, 9:24. If we add 24 to that, that's 9:28. 9:48. If we add 24 to that, 48 and 24 is 72. So that's 10:12, isn't it? If we add another 24, that's 10:36. If we add another 24, that's 11 AM. So what about the buses to Barton? They leave every 20 minutes. So the first leaves at 9 o'clock, 9:20, 9:40. If we add another 20 minutes on, that's 10 o'clock, because 60 minutes, sorry, 10 o'clock. Add another 20 minutes, that's 10:20, 10:40, and 11 o'clock. So the question's asking us, when will a bus to Acton and a bus to Barton next leave the bus station at the same time? Well, that's obviously 11 AM. So what we've been finding here is the lowest common multiple of 20 and 24. The lowest common multiple of 20 and 24 is 120. So we've added 120 minutes, which is 2 hours, to our 9 o'clock time. Okay, question 25. Some algebra. Expand 3 brackets 2y minus 5. Well, this is very easy. We just have to multiply everything in the brackets by 3. 3 times 2y gives us 6y. Got a negative sign. 3 times 5 is 15. So that's 6y minus 15. Factorise completely. 8x squared plus 4xy. So we've got to find a common factor. In fact, there are 2 common factors, aren't there? There's a common factor for 8 and 4, which is 4. So we can put 4 outside the brackets. And we can find a common factor of x, because that's x squared and that's xy. So we can take x outside the brackets. So we need to divide 8x squared by 4x. So the number part's going to be 2, because 2 times 4 is 8, and the letter part is going to be x, because x times x is x squared. So here, if we divide the 4 by the 4, we just get 1. If we divide the x by the x, we just get 1. So the letter part is y. Always double check when you've done factorisation. When you multiply out the brackets again, you get back to where you started. So 4x times 2x makes 8x squared. 4x times y makes 4xy. So that is correct. Part C. Make h the subject of the formula. So making the subject means it's got to start with h equals something. So we need to move the 10 and the g to the other side of the equals sign. Do that just by doing the opposite. So at the moment, gh is divided by 10. So if we multiply both sides by 10, 10 times t will equal gh. We've got to get h on its own, so the opposite of multiplying by g is dividing by g. So h is going to equal 10t divided by g. So our answer is h equals 10t over g. Question 26. Take 2 5ml spoonsful twice a day. There are 300 millilitres of medicine in a bottle. Mary has to take 2 5ml spoonsful of medicine twice a day. Mary has to take the medicine until the bottle is empty. how many days does Mary have to take the medicine for? So first let's work out how much she takes each day. She takes 2 5ml spoons twice a day. So that's 2 times 5 times 2. 2 5s are 10, 2 10s are 20. So each day she's taking 20 mils of medicine. The bottle holds 300 mils. So to find out how many days, it's going to be 300 divided by 20. We can cancel out the zeros. How many 2s in 30? Well, that's half of 30, isn't it? So the answer, 15 days. Double check to make sure you've got it right. If it lasts 15 days, 15 times 2 times 5 times 2 should give us a 300 mils, shouldn't it? 15 times 2 is 30, 35 is 150, 150 times 2 is 300, so we know we've got it right. You can work out the amount of medicine C millilitres to give to a child by using the formula C equals MA divided by 150. M is the age of the child in months, A is the adult dose in millilitres, a child is 30 months old, an adult dose is 40 millilitres. Work out the amount of medicine you can give to the child. So we need to substitute in this formula. We're working out C, and C equals M, and M is the age of the child, and we know the child is 30 months. There's no sign between the M and the A, so that means we've got to times them. A is the adult dose, and the adult dose is 40. And we've got to divide that by 150. Don't panic, because this is going to cancel out very nice, isn't it? We can divide, we can cancel out some zeros, like that, made top and bottom both 10 times smaller. And now we can cancel out the 15 and the 30, because 15 goes into 30 twice. So our sum just becomes 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. So that means C, the child dose, is 8 millilitres. We can put 8 in the answer. Question 27. The diagram shows a parallelogram. The sizes of the angles in degrees are 2x, 3x minus 15, 2x, 2x plus 24. Work out the value of x. Well, there's various different ways of doing this, but the easiest one, I think, is to realise that if you know the properties of a parallelogram, you know the opposite sides, the opposite angles are equal. So you can see 2x is equal to 2x. You also know that 2x plus 24 equals 3x minus 15. So we can make straight away an equation. 3x minus 15 equals 2x plus 24. Okay, so let's simplify that. We can take 2x away from both sides of this equation. So we'll just be left with x minus 15 equals 24. The opposite of minus 15 is add 15. So x equals 24, add 15. So x equals 39 degrees. That's our answer. We could also have done it by realising that the sum of all these angles has got to be 360. So if you didn't know the opposite angles are equal in a parallelogram, you should know the angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360. So if we add up all of these angles in algebra equals 360, use algebra to work out what x is from there. But that's a far easier method.